joy to be here today. So, we have three beautiful people today. I want you all to definitely, if you're moving around right now, let's just pay attention. We have Pharmacy, also known as Camille James. Now let's talk about Camille James. She's an innovative force behind Halls of Ivy Academy. She's the founder and program director. She drives our nonprofit's missions with the Halls of Ivy and others, developing agriculture-focused programs that ignite community engagement with a strong commitment to the Frayser community, y'all. Frayser, where we at? There you go. All right. Camille serves as the garden manager for the Frayser Commudnity Urban Garden. Give it up for Camille James.
Ashay.
Chase. Hey Chase, how you doing? We have Chase Madkins. He's a proud father, which is beautiful. I love to hear that. He's a community leader, the Equity Alliance. He's a veteran. Thank you for your service. He's also a mentor, a lyricist, activist, organizer, and transformative change maker. He can be found daily in the community, engaged in mutual aid projects, voter education, and continuous movement building. Everybody, let's give it up for Chase Madkins today on the Environmental Panel. Last but not least, I just had the pleasure of meeting Miss Son here. She has a heart for the community in herbalism. She's also a poet. She just had a festival. What it was, the Creative Writers and the Mid-South Poets and Writers Festival.
Yeah.
Mid-South Poets and Writers Festival. She's been a force. She's been nominated several times with the, the Best in Black, all right, as one of the top herbalists in the community. And that means a lot because those votes come from you all. That's not just something that people say, hey, sometimes people get together in groups and say, we want this person to get it, we want this person to get it. That's not it. This came from the community's voice. They voted for her to have that nomination and for her to be voted as one of the top herbalists in the Mid-South. So we want to give it up also for Miss Son.
Ashay. Ashay.
All right. So let's move into our talk. Let's move into our conversation. Because today is Knowledge is Flower. And it's also, you had conversations around mental health, wellness, with flowers, with plants, with everything that's here on our green earth. We want to talk to you all today. So one of the questions that we have, and anybody can answer, how does hemp cultivation contribute to environmental sustainability and wellness compared to other agriculture practices?
I am a certified grower, and so I love hemp because it is a conduit, meaning it can take what's toxic in the soil and pull it out of the soil. So it is kind of our Earth's filter. Hemp, a long time ago, in the beginning of the formation of this country, it was illegal not to grow because that's what the Bible printed on. And hemp has the ability to turn into plastics, fuel, energy. But there are companies like DuPont who don't like things like that. And so, as you saw, there was a period where hemp became, unpopular. And then, as we know, the plant and its capabilities to heal in so many of our conditions. But then the other pharmacy came about. And so we began to separate ourselves from nature. And then Walgreens and CVS and everyone else took over. But hemp is, like I said, a miraculous plant to grow, not just for our physical health, but also for the earth's health as well.
Yeah, I'll just add, on the most basic level, I've never heard anyone pass away from a hemp overdose. I've never heard anyone, say hemp gave them unwanted side effects. And I could kind of go, you know, on and on just in terms of like the contrast between hemp, the effects of hemp, and the effects of some other substances such as prescription medication, alcohol, and synthetic and otherwise pharmaceutical medication for drugs. So I
just to conclude what you both were saying, definitely with me myself, I am an active smoker. I've been an active smoker for such a long time, and just seeing it as a healing herb. I think a lot of people don't take it into consideration when we have so many laws passed about what should be done in regards to how we need to cultivate and how we need to consider certain areas for cultivation as well. I think Memphis definitely needs to reconsider some of the practices that we do have when it comes to that. Probably do more studies, work with more people who are familiar with that strain, the strain of different hemps as well, and not just speak to people that they think that are coming out here and doing things where they're just selling the drugs. Look at the reason why that people are actually taking them. It's doing a lot of things with your mental health, your overall body. I've seen it help people with cancer, from brain cancer all the way into actual lung cancer. You know, some people may not think that smoking really can actually assist with that, but it does. I've seen it so many times. Also, people who may have ailments or any type of illnesses. If people actually will just make sure that they're more aware of that, they will be able to do a better healing, and probably one day everyone in the country be able to have it as well.
So, Sean just made me remember something else. So our bodies have endocannabinoid receptors in it.
Right.
We ain't asked for it. We
Right.
didn't have to do anything to get it. It came like that. And so it makes me then big, you know, just ask the question to myself, what did hemp do that's so bad that it had to be outlawed in most states until recent? And one of the things that like comes to mind in terms of the answer is, okay, so if you can eat it, you can use it for healing, you can use it to build things, and most importantly, you can make money, right? Because it can grow, you can grow it anywhere, right? And so now we have an actual economic base that we can build off of something that can't be controlled 100% of the time. You know, so they're like that.
Our culture are the ones who know they're cultivating and making the most money. So of course, when we're making the most money from something, they want to make sure that it's illegal as much as possible.
I agree with all of you. And that's a perfect segue what Hassan was speaking on when it comes down to our health. I want to go into that aspect with you all, and kind of looking at personal health for individuals maybe that you all work with, even for yourself. I know you said you smoke as well, and I know here, you know, some people may have some attitudes or issues with that based on we're in the Bible Belt and there are restrictions. So I want to talk to you all about how does the environmental wellness intersect with personal health and well-being, particularly in the context of hemp consumption and utilization. All right, so we want to look at it from the environmental wellness along with the personal health, that intersection.
So, as the regional organizer manager of Equity Alliance, one of the jobs that I have in community organizing is reaching people through issue-based politics. And so, one of the very prevalent issues that I have is that I come across is negative attitudes towards hemp, right? And so like it really kind of blows my mind because again, when I think about not only the experience of myself, people I'm in community with, what I've read in history and what I've discovered through my own research, just in terms of all of the many attributes and benefits of cannabinoids. It just blows my mind that this is even a problem or a thing for people. But I just end with saying that mental health would not even be as stigmatized, I believe, if we had a place where people could go and receive natural medicine. Crime, all of these unwanted forms of behavior and activity in our community, if we had some, we could send someone where they could be ritualized into a space of healing through the use of nature and this medicine, I don't think we'll have any of the issues that we see, right? Because we have a response to the problem.
Do you want any of this stuff?
The response that we typically see, which is usually the policing
But it's
or the criminalization
very
of
little
ourselves
THC.
and one another. And it starts
for your
with
plants or anything.
the outside culture groups.
And then
I did want to also make mention that I love what you just said about us having cannabinoids
And you can take a couple
receptors
of
in our
them.
brain. So we are the medicine. And a lot of times we separate ourselves from the answer, which dwells within us. And we might put all this power into a plant, or
Yeah, I'm
power
going to
into
South
crystals,
Carolina on Monday.
or an altar, or whatever. But you are the
Until
medicine.
the 5th of
These
May.
plants activate what's already in
Okay.
you.
All right. See you later. Thank you.
And when you know that, you can activate this melanin. You can do a kind of thing. That's how we built the pyramids and how we predicted the weather and many other superpowers that dwell within us. So these plants and this earth is here to serve us, but we also must be good stewards because she will multiply whatever you give her.
Ashe.
You give her something good, she'll multiply that. You give her some bullshit, she'll multiply that too. So you are the power. And sometimes we get into addictive behaviors because we are seeking something outside of ourselves, you know? But the answer dwells within. And it's plants and herbs and, tools that can allow us to activate this beautiful power we have that dwells right within. But we have been separated from our power. We've been separated from nature. And the farther we get away from the garden, the sicker we become. The cured come back to the garden.
Ashe.
I would say this, and again, continuing with what we both said, amazing points. A lot of people don't understand that everything within the environment that connects us and the plants all have a 10-sided figure that's within all of us. It's the exact same figure. I don't want to mispronounce this, dexacommune, something like that nature, but we're all connected within that same figure. Anything that is synthetic, that's man-made, does not have the exact same figure. So if you look at plants and you look at us within our own genealogy and how if you look at our parents, anything of that nature, you look at anybody that's within our DNA, you will see the exact same figure. So it makes it natural that if something that is the exact same chemical properties as us can heal us, can change what we do within our body, then it makes sense that you can only go to the things that Earth is also giving us. If we are of the Earth, we want to only be able to go to the Earth to actually find the healing that we need. You can't go to synthetic things all the time. Synthetic things are synthetic. It's going to cause problems within your body. That's why you have so many side effects listed on bottles when you go and buy medicine. Nature doesn't have those same type of side effects. You may have some type of allergies, and usually the allergies become because you're so used to having the things in your body like the fast foods or other types of things that you're putting in your body that you're not supposed to be having. But if you go back to having fresh collars, you having fresh herbs in your body, you will start seeing that your body starts no longer being allergic to your normal everyday things that you see. Some folks say that they're allergic to nettle. We were speaking about nettle earlier. A lot of people are not allergic to those things as long as they actually start looking at what you can actually start putting in your body instead of being close to those synthetic properties within the world. So you start getting away from man-made material and start going back to things that are, again, connected to your body. You will start seeing more healing within yourself.
Ashe.
There you go. Get back to the garden. Get back to the garden. That's the key thing here because we already know that's already approved. Like there's an FDA approved this and that. We already know that they have chemicals in it. Only thing they did was take what was already in nature, reconstruct it, put some additives in there, some things that's going to cause you to be even sicker, just so you can live a particular lifestyle. So going back to the hemp cultivation, that helps you along with the mental health aspect of cultivating. But then also, just like what they've all shared, is it's already within you. So it's just a part of an awakening of who you are. You know, connecting back to the hemp is just an awakening. It's just a tool for you to use, just like Camille stated. You know, everything's already within. All right, so moving right along. So my next question for the panel would be, what educational initiatives or resources do you believe are essential for promoting environmental awareness and sustainability within the hemp community?
They have a lot of great programs. I actually went to Doane University, and I was living in Nebraska at the time. But there are now programs online, even online, that give you education about, the cannabis plant and understanding its complexities. And once you get to diving into there, and if you get lucky enough like me, I got to see it under a microscope, and it's basically like little balls of lightning.
Yeah.
So when we ingest it, we are ingesting light. It's amazing to see. So yes, they do have a lot of online programs, and of course those you can take in person, just to kind of really get into the nuts and bolts of, the components of the cannabis. What's different between THC, what is indica, what is sativa, the different strains, what is hybrid, what is a hermy, what we call a hermaphrodite, and saving seed. And the real money is not in the plant, it's in the seeds. So, finding the different strains that help with, like the one my family cultivates, helps with grief. And it also helps with perimenopause and menopause. So there are so many different strains that can do different things, but I understand we're talking about hemp, but there's so many other plants that can do the same thing. So don't limit yourself on one plant. God has created a multitude of medicines.
Yeah, so I would like to add that I like to be objective, right? So, of course, I'm all for what's natural, what's found in nature. Most importantly, though, I want to see my brothers and sisters free from behind the wall due to mass incarceration of something that ultimately is not illegal, right? So that's first and foremost. But objectively speaking, there's an individual by the name of Dr. Wesley Muhammad. He has tons of research. I mean, serious research on the not so great side aspects of hemp. But a lot of his research kind of comes from the vantage point of man alter, right? Like capitalism, so how capitalism likes to take things that are good but mass produce it, to make for the benefit of money. So now we have to get into some nuance around what's safe. Right, so you can't just smoke anything. You can't just consume anything, right? And so when you think about education from that standpoint, I don't feel like it's enough information meeting the streets. I don't know if it's enough educational resources out here, raising awareness around things like lace, fentanyl being found in things that it shouldn't be. And so, and in addition, and then also thinking about what Miss Camille said, just in terms of like how you go abroad, you can find these institutes, you can find these educational resources in person, virtually. But if you live in the state of Tennessee, they're still under the laws or prescription of mass incarceration, then that type of information isn't readily available, And so I think that presents a problem for those who will come up and ultimately will engage with him. But because of the laws and legalities of things, they can't openly learn or discover the education necessary to properly use it.
I want to piggyback on something that you said earlier, Camille. When you said looking at the hemp under the microscope is like a lighting, it's like light. And this is for anybody. how would you state like ingesting of hemp via smoking or tea? What would be the best way? Since you said it's light, it just took me there. Are we not doing the justice and to this plant, to this herb, the way that we should? Are we abusing it? I kind of want to know from you all's standpoint, how do you view it? What would be a way to ingest? And I know like abroad in other places, it's ceremonial. When you smoke it, it's ceremonial. It's not kind of like we did here, like you just stated. There aren't a lot of educational resources for us to know this. So based on you all's education experience and background, what would you say is that, not really reverencing the plant when we're out here smoking, or should we do it in various forms? What would be,
I love that. Because yes, we are supposed to be doing it ceremonially. But that was purposefully constructed to separate us. And through colonization, they took our plant medicines and weaponized it. So when I say tobacco, you probably cigarettes. But when I hear tobacco, this is how we would give reverence to the ancestors. This is how we pray. So we take our time, we set our intent, we commune together, and then we take the plant medicine, what we call the rapé, the tobacco, or the peyote. And this is part of our culture, but that was separated from us. So just like the cannabis plant, same thing, our plants were weaponized against us. And this is a global agenda. They did this also Asia, and they took their plant, and they took the opium, and they weaponized it. This is a keen strategy that works every time. You go in, take the culture from the people, snatch their power, become their god, take their drugs, take their plants and turn them into drugs to imprison them. Because of how beautiful and how powerful we are as a people, they don't want you to ever remember who you are.
Ashe.
So, really not a lot to say behind it. That's a mic drop. So I will just add this to that point of just modes of delivery. Because at the end of the day, we talking about medicine. That's what we want, right? That's what we should be looking for, is medicine, right? Not anything other than that I don't know about, right? But we talking about the medicine, we know that there are different modes of delivery and transportation to get the medicine in your body. I don't necessarily, the oil, there you go. So I recommend the oil, the distillate, the oil extract of the plant, and you can mix that over a little coconut oil if you want, any butter, anything fat soluble, it'll take right to, teaspoon, you can come talk to me, just catch me around. I have some products I could inform you about that uses that same property, the extract, the oil, and we have really, really good products. Oil based, obviously.
And I'll just conclude with that as well, just stating everyone should not be smoking. Everybody can take it. Everyone needs to just find what's the best way to ingest what they're taking when it comes to hemp products. I have seen people who try to smoke it, they're better off just eating it or taking it in soluble forms. Also in tinctures. There's certain ways that you need to be able to find exactly what works best for you. Also not overindulging in it. Sometimes we smoke to get high. That should never be your reason. And what happens is when you do things that make you not be able to actually function the way that you need to normally be able to function, make sound decisions, that means you're abusing it. Everything should be used as healing portion, including tobacco. A lot of people don't realize tobacco is sometimes good. Me as a smoker, I will sometimes use tobacco products to be able to get the tobacco healing properties because you can feel it. It does do things for your mental. It also assists with inflammation. But palm leaves on a normal basis, if you're a smoker, to be able to have some that's more natural, or even using banana leaves. Learning different things or different structures that is best for you to be able to ingest the hemp so that you can get the best properties, because you continue to use like Swisher Sweets or things of that nature. You're going to be basically doing a counteract of being able to actually receive what's needed for you to be able to ingest it properly. There's some people, again, I know a cancer patient, she realized she couldn't smoke, so she does it by ingesting. She eats hers, or she makes a soluble, she makes her oils and things of that nature so that she'll be able to have the best ways to be able to ingest it. But you have to find what's best for you in order for you to ingest it, and not overindulge, because it just be counterproductive.
Agreed. I got another question, but I was going to ask you all, there is an oil, and I remember giving it to my mom before she transitioned. Roger something, you don't know what I'm talking about? It's like Roger 12 or something. He has a specific oil strain for people who are going through like radiation, chemo, cancer. I can't think of the name of it right off the top of my head, but there's a specific strain, and that's what I gave my mom, and so she wouldn't have to be on Dilaudid and so many of the morphine continuously, so many pain meds. I gave her that would help ease and also put her in a state of relaxation. So when I think of it, I'll share it with you all because I can't think. But question specifically for Chase, because he's the male up here, but you ladies can also chime in. I want to go back to the medicine, because we said the plants are the medicine, right? It's a part of our environment. And some things that I can see from the environment. I'm from Memphis, I'm from South Memphis. And I'm around black men. I love my black men, but I see that sometimes my black men are continuously smoking. So do you see that as epigenetics, as a part that has been so much trauma through the generations that they're using this medicine as healing? Do you possibly see it as that? Maybe they're not doing it knowingly, but maybe subconsciously they could be reaching out to the herb, through the DNA as medicine for healing. And anybody can, but that was kind of like a question when you all talked about medicine, and then we see this in our community. And I'm using male specifically because I see more men smoking than women. But is that something that you feel, this could just be something, opinionated, that you would want to share? Do you see that maybe as the DNA reaching out from generations for that as medicine?
So I definitely, I'll say this, as a black man, as a human, especially as a black man, we are multifaceted, we're multi-layered, we're multi-dimensional, right? Like, we're multi-perspective having, right? So I never want to paint the picture that we're just one way or one thing for any reason. But I will agree with you though that I do think that there is a certain level of like generational trauma that carries on from one generation to the other. I don't necessarily see that connecting more like to hemp. I see more destructive habits, forming as a result of their trauma, and I do see the hemp being kind of like a medium for most young men, young people to get to this less divisive, less toxic, and less harsh. Still lacking the education of the generational trauma and awareness of their own emotional wellness, intelligence, well-being. But to your point, I do think that there is this looks like a happy medium, right? Because if you're a black man in America, no matter what you do, you're going to be pointed at some point. You got to live with it. Maybe that's me projecting, But, so I do think that the hemp is looked at as, okay, this looks safe enough for me to still be within community, right? and not discard it as some of our ancestors may have been when they, experience process.
Just add on to that and including women as well. I think a lot of times we use it to dilute our trauma and not actually be able to exercise within it so that we can heal ourselves from it. And I see it often within our community, period, where we sometimes use it as a gateway drug. And of course, that's the conversation or the term they use to get us away from using it. But it's only when we overindulge in it and abuse it that it becomes that. So then we're looking for harder and harsher things to make us not have to actually go and face our traumas and be able to actually resolve them. But if we look at it again as a healing drug that actually can go in and help us, it can actually make you be comfortable enough to be able to face those traumas and not dilute them, and actually go out to be able to exercise and be able to be open in conversation with other people. Because when have you really been in a circle of people smoking weed and they're not having a conversation about some of their triggers and traumas? It's very rare. They will actually have those conversations if you just take the time out to listen. We normally are able to have the family dynamic and be able to, express ourselves and be able to come to terms with some of the things that we need to do. You have men talking to each other, man, my girl, man, she's getting on my nerves, and when they come to a solution, how they can actually make that a better situation for themselves. But when we get too deep into it and we're drugging ourselves, right? Because you can do that. You can overinduce. You're not allowing yourselves to be able to be open with what you need to be able to fix. Instead, you're looking for ways to be able to hide it. And I think that's something we need to be able to start doing as well. So just making sure that we find where our leverage is and not going over that. So once we finally be able to do that and be open again with the discussions that we had earlier about the mental health, being able to create those safe spaces to be able to do that so that these traumas cannot be hidden but can actually be revealed.
Shay.
That was just the one-off for me. But my next question is, in what ways can the hemp industry serve as a catalyst for broader environmental consciousness and action, both locally and globally?
Well, I'll say just real quick. I mean, I believe that though anyone that's making money in hand over, I mean money, we know there's some very high earning profiting corporations in this industry. I believe anyone that's profiting largely off of hemp should automatically invest in the decriminalization across the planet, honestly. But I definitely think that they owe to Black, brown, indigenous, marginalized communities across America some of their profit in terms of freeing, unjustly incarcerated people that, again, was not even considered illegal anymore.
I know traditionally, don't forget how this country was built. Free labor, crime pays, okay? And so until it stops, we're going to always have these issues. But I do say that just like we seek the benefits of cannabis and hemp, there are other crops out there that you can grow and do. We have programs called Seed to Market. We all the way from the seed to the market. So literally growing your own food is like growing your own money, And for a community to be sovereign and free, they must do three things. They must be able to feed themselves, heal themselves, and defend themselves. And when I say defend, I don't mean guns or weapons. This here is the weapon. If you feed yourself, heal yourself, this activates. Then you start asking hard questions, start thinking bigger, start developing and growing things. So yeah, I think that there are many ways to benefit economically from it, but always know when you're in Rome, you do as Romans do. So we are in this country that has a lot of leverage. There's a lot of people making money in the system because you used to could go from the seed to the market with the cannabis, but now it's split up, and so you can sprout it, or you can clone it. You can't do all the steps anymore. So you have to have a license for each step. You can get your cannabis, your medical card. And then you can also, if you don't know how to grow, you can find someone who does. And they're kind of like a babysitter for your plants. So right over here across the bridge, they allow you to do that, and you can file for your medical card. But I just want you to also open your mind to all the other medicinal plants and their beautiful benefits that they offer to us. I do want to say this before I let you guys go. Know your roots. Go get your genealogy done. Go see where you came from. You'll learn a lot. Yes, go back to your roots, because if you do, you're going to learn so much about yourselves. You're going to find out why you pour out a little liquor for your homie. It's called libations. You're going to find out why you like these colors, why you're so good at certain things. Go back and find out who you are. So as we're talking about the plants, and we also have roots. We have powers that we haven't even nearly begun to activate.
And it's the Rick Simpson oil. RSO for cancer. That's what it is. I had to look it up, but it's Rick Simpson oil. Our last question for our panel. How can collaboration between various sectors such as agriculture, technology, and policy drive positive environmental outcomes within the hemp industry?
Yeah, so that's easy, organize. I mean, anything we want, anything we need, anything we think we believe we're missing, it's only because we fail to organize. It's not that any of these other groups are more intelligent, more crafty, or more resourceful. They're just more organized. And in my most honest opinion, I believe that they have the power to put the people that they want or they need to come up with the solutions in a room where they don't have to worry about going to work. They don't have to worry about pleasing their boss or, the kids in this room or whatever. Their sole job is to come up with the solution. They get organized. They get the necessary people at the table in the room. They have the necessary conversation. They don't come out until those questions are answered. And they don't take their job lightly. So that's my...
Love that, organized, yeah. And, and also stay open. I mean, things are evolving. The market is saturated. I mean, remember hemp was the big thing, right? They didn't have enough processing centers. We don't think in terms like that. That's a lot of money in that particular area. Because there weren't enough processing plants, then hemp, the value just dropped. And so now they are tapping into other, you're seeing it Delta 8, 9. There are a lot of different avenues. But literally that market is capped off. It's saturated, for real. At this point, I would say, either you're cultivating a certain strain and selling the seeds, or at this point using it and learning about how to actually use it as medicine and in ritual and in ceremony. And so that we can take our plant medicine back. Now that's when we bring back culture, history, tradition, ritual, that's what we're missing. And it's because of that we allow others to make us a part of their agenda. So we got to get back and start understanding about our holy days and who we are. And when we start bringing rites of passage back, things like that, that's when we will begin to empower ourselves and our community.
I would say be open to all spectrums of knowledge. I think everybody needs to be in the same rooms and also be invited within those rooms. So the people who have the experience, make sure that you're making sure that others know that the experience is available for them to be able to get. And also the people who are new to the experience and wanting to be able to cultivate and be in these rooms, be able to be humble enough to be able to go in those rooms and ask for the help. So I think that everybody needs to be able to be open to organization, but the organizers need to be open to be able to able to receive everyone in those spaces, so that the community can grow. Because a lot of times our egos get in the way when it comes to the Black community, especially, that does not allow us to be able to actually function together. So a lot of us go and do our own things because we think we know and we don't want to press any buttons, so we do not actually organize together. And there's so many different realms of what we're trying to do. So you got this organization over here, this organization over here, and nobody's truly growing in the fast pace that we can do. So I want everybody to try to actually be open to the knowledge, be able to bridge people and close the gap of the knowledge so that we are all knowledgeable, and be open to be able to have people come in to receive and seed in your spaces. Because all knowledge is good knowledge if it's good for the well-being of what we're trying to accomplish. So as long as everybody is trying to accomplish the same thing, we as a people can do better. And I think that is for our young men as well, when they're coming out. Make sure that they know about these organizations that are out here. If you are somebody who is able to go out and construct a crime, you're able to construct and assist with a business. I've done seen it. I've been on that side as well. I've been in the streets. I've done did my little 1-2 thing out here. So I know I'm also now a business owner, so I'm able to reposition that. But I also go out and work with other organizations right now. I work with 7 other nonprofits. So make sure that you're out, being able to make sure that you're cultivating one another, and again, being knowledgeable and being able to open those spaces. We all know something. Be open to that honesty and that openness.
Thank you, everybody. Organize, collaborate, evolve, add in technology. Don't be afraid of AI. We may can use that as some type of way of cultivation. So also looking at that, because cultivation can look in various facets, just like you stated. Of course, we want to take seed to market and we want to sell the seed. But what does it look like outside of that when it comes down to education, when it comes down to resources, when it comes down outside of just growing? You know, what other ways can we take it back? So this has been like sitting in the living room. I've enjoyed the conversation. I hope you all enjoyed the conversation today.
Yes.
We have Camille James, Frayser Urban Garden. Make sure you check her out. Seed to Market. And Chase Madkins, Equity Alliance. And then we have Sun. She's here also with the Spoken Memphis. The Spoken Memphis. So make sure organization also starts by making sure that you connect, because you can't organize if you don't connect. So you don't know what's out there. You can't connect if you don't actually take that step. And being here is the opportunity to connect and then start on that organization. All right. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day.